A devastating and deadly fire rips through a bar and apartments in Sturgeon Bay. Authorities struggling to find a way to get in.
The building right now is deemed very compromised.
The building in downtown, rich with history, now gutted.
It's almost surreal. My niece sent me a video and I couldn't even watch it. It just doesn't seem real.
All this as Northeast Wisconsin is enveloped in a winter storm. The latest you need to know tonight on Action 2 News at 5.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We have lots to get to tonight. We'll check in shortly with David Ernst in the First Alert Weather Center. We also have a crew monitoring the roads at this hour. Jason Zimmerman will have a live update from the Fox Valley just minutes from now.
But first, team coverage from Sturgeon Bay. A deadly fire at a historic downtown bar with one person still unaccounted for. We first brought you this as breaking news early this morning. It happened at Butch's Bar on 3rd Avenue. Viewer video shows the flames that started around 3:30 a.m.
Our live team coverage in Sturgeon Bay starts with Casey Torres. Casey, what have you been learning about the search today?
The search for the one person unaccounted for continues. We also learned one person was killed in the fire and their body was found a few hours ago but has not been identified yet. We also know that one person was hospitalized at a burn center. However, we have not heard how they are doing at this moment. And there were several survivors that escaped the fire, but their home was on the 2nd floor where the roof collapsed.
It's certainly a sad day, no doubt about it.
This is what Butch's Bar in downtown Sturgeon Bay looks like after an early morning fire burned it down Tuesday before 4 a.m. Only charred brick walls are left of what was once a popular hangout spot for locals like Richard Bone.
Well, I haven't been in there maybe in 10 years, but before that, I'd go there.
The bar also had 2nd floor apartments that some people called home before they came crashing down.
There are 20 available rooms that were above Butch's Bar. 9 were rented.
Several renters now need a new home.
Amy Conley from United Way has been, her office has been in contact with the renters that we have here that are displaced, trying to find them shelter and long-term housing.
9 agencies helped out with the fire in the middle of a winter storm and bitter cold.
There's a lot that goes into this. There's a lot of training that goes into this, and that's what they train for. But it still doesn't make it any less uncomfortable, especially with conditions like this.
It's a sad day for that old bar and building and the people associated.
Sturgeon Bay officials in the state are now handling this investigation. They are trying to figure out what could have caused the fire and where it could have started. But finding the answer to that could take a while because this building is considered compromised. That is another reason why people are asked to stay away from the area that is taped off by at least 2 blocks on 3rd Street. Reporting live in Sturgeon Bay, Casey Torres, Action 2 News.
Thank you, Casey. We've also been learning about the history of Butch's Bar and its value to the community. Kaylin Schumacher has details on that. Kaylin.
Yeah, Bill, I got to talk with the Door County Historical Museum today, and they told me that while the bar has been here since the 70s, the building itself was actually first built in 1904, back when the roads were nothing but dirt.
And kind of its purpose, it actually hasn't changed that much in the 120 plus years that we're talking about.
In the more than 120 years that it's been around, Butch's Bar has held a handful of names, owners, and purposes, ranging from a hotel to an Eagles club.
Pretty fascinating stuff, and one of the most significant historic buildings in that area for sure.
Years ago, it was called the Eagles Club. And they used to hold meetings upstairs. It was a whole open area. When my uncle took it over, he made rooms upstairs, sleeping rooms.
But patrons say its varied history is what made it so great today.
Being in there, you definitely did feel the history, and you felt those years and years of people putting their heart and soul, bringing those community memories into that space. It had an impact.
A lot of memories, a lot of friends and kind of like relatives. We all hung out there.
Becky Trout, the current owner's niece, said today her family is heartbroken for her uncle, as Butch's Bar was his whole world for more than 50 years. and now it's crumbled overnight.
It's been in the family since I was a child. We've had like anniversaries for my grandparents there, birthdays. When we were younger, we would do Christmas there, the entire family. He spends more time there than he does at home.
But local historians say, unfortunately, losing history to fire in Door County is nothing new.
Fire has dominated Door County history and certainly Sturgeon Bay history. Many of the buildings that currently exist on 3rd Avenue, the stone and brick buildings, were built as the result of the previous buildings burning down.
Now, I couldn't get a hold of the owner today, but friends and family tell me that he's doing okay, just devastated by the loss of his building and those that live there. Reporting in Sturgeon Bay, Kaylin Schumacher, Action 2 News.
Kaylin, thank you. Turning now to the first alert weather day we're experiencing. We're still seeing the effects of the big winter storm system, slippery travel persisting into the evening.
What can we expect in the coming hours before this weather maker comes to an end? Meteorologist David Ernst joining us now with a look at that first alert forecast. David.
Yes, Cammie and Bill, we're in the waning stages of the falling snow and wintry mix, but roads are going to remain slippery across the area through the rest of this evening and overnight. You see a number of slippery stretches reported through the Fox cities, ice-covered roads down to the southeast of Lake Winnebago. So it doesn't really matter where you are, you're likely to encounter some slippery stretches, especially as you get off into the more untreated roads. Here, a live look downtown Green Bay and a rather slushy-looking Walnut Street there below. In Appleton right now, you can see a few flakes coming across the screen. Also looking like slower travel down College Avenue. In Oshkosh, doesn't look like we have too much snow coming down. Roads here look a little bit more wet downtown, but again, as you start getting off of those more well-traveled, well-treated routes, you're going to encounter more snow and slushy spots. Shawano looking more like Oshkosh there. Don't see any real steady snow coming down, and the roads don't look too bad here downtown, but again, you're going to encounter pockets where it's definitely worse throughout the area. In Sturgeon Bay and southward, we have a little bit of light snow coming down. Same goes from the De Pere area through Wrightstown into Calumet County. And as you get from Shawano, just southeast of Shawano down towards the Seymour area and Outagamie County, we're seeing some steadier snow, a few pockets of steadier snow across northern areas, also dealing with a little bit of light snow there. But the steady activity is pushing away from the area. We'll have to keep an eye on what you see there around Minneapolis to see if that tracks into the Northwoods late. But most of us are getting out of the snow as we speak. We'll talk more about another round that could be moving through later this week coming up.
Thanks, David. As this system rolls through, as David mentioned, there are still some travel concerns. So let's check in with our crew in the Fox Valley. Jason Zimmerman has been keeping an eye on the roads. So Jason, tell us what it's like out there right now.
Yeah, Cammie, we've been out on the roads for the past several hours, and they continue to get better. We're on Interstate 41 right now, Winnebago County, just passing through Neenah, and we're going about 60 miles an hour. A lot of vehicles are going even faster than us, so you can see here, including this truck that just kind of blew by us here. So you can see the roads here in pretty good shape. There's still some slippery spots if you're traveling in town, some scattered slick spots, but a lot of slush on the roads. They're really wet right now, so that's also giving us some traction, which is actually good if you have to put on the brakes. But again, we've seen the plows out, and they seem to be doing a pretty good job. You know, obviously much better than it was this afternoon. And some of that is due to the fact that we aren't seeing any more snow or just a light misting right now that's coming down. So we'll continue to keep you posted throughout the evening. Reporting live in Winnebago County, Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News.
Jason, thank you. Another story getting a whole lot of speculation in the past 24 hours, the future of Aaron Rodgers and when he'll reveal his decision about whether he'll stay with the Packers, go elsewhere, or leave football altogether. Chris Rothorn is down in the studio with what all those questions amounted to today. Chris.
Well, Bill, it was a late-night cryptic Instagram post and then a surprise appearance on the Pat McAfee show, and it all adds up to no new news from Aaron Rodgers. The four-time MVP wasted zero time today in squashing any hope of an announcement about his future by saying right off the bat, that wasn't going to happen. He just finished a 12-day cleanse program yesterday called Panchakarma. You feel free to look that up if you like. And he knows the clock is ticking down towards the start of the new league year, which is on March 16th. His future plans absolutely must be ironed out by then. The Packers, of course, want him back, so the ball is in his court.
I've obviously had thoughts about it and have had thoughts throughout the season and throughout the offseason, even during PK. But there's conversations to be had and a few more things to contemplate, but it won't be long. And I'm not going to hold anybody hostage in this. I'm not going to do that. Obviously, I want to feel certain about it, and when I do, I'll make a decision and we'll just move on and move forward.
Well, let's get right back to that first alert weather day. More ice, more snow have been coming through this afternoon, maybe both. It really depends on where you are. You're looking live right now on our Manitowoc Skycam, and meteorologist David Ernst is here with your full forecast. David.
Yes, Cammie, we're going to see the snow wintry mix start to wrap up later on this evening. Right now, there is a band of light snow stretching essentially from the Menominee County, Marinette County line right down through Oconto, Green Bay, and into Calumet County. Also, a few little pockets of light snow across eastern parts of Shawano County and into Outagamie County. Farther north, light snow extends all the way into upper Michigan, and we're going to continue to see these snow showers and any wintry mix in here lifting out towards the northeast over the next few hours. Now, there is a developing area of snow back towards the Twin Cities here into Minnesota. I would expect that to lift into northwestern parts of Wisconsin, so largely missing our area later on this evening. Temperatures right now anywhere from the mid-teens into the lower 20s, and those readings should start to settle down through the teens with time this evening. Our first alert weather day will come to an end later on tonight as any snow and mix moves out, but it's likely that travel problems will persist through the night. So let's get into your forecast here. First alert pinpoint predictor. We'll pick it up at 7 o'clock. And again, there could still be a few lingering light snow showers, especially across Door County, eastern parts of Wisconsin, and into the North Woods. And certainly there'll still be some activity ongoing in the UP. Behind the first alert logo there, you may have noticed a little bit of snow pushing on through. That's the batch of snow that we were looking at there in Minnesota. So I think it misses most of us towards the northwest. So at 11 o'clock, maybe a few flurries coming down, but that would likely be about it. Skies gradually clearing as we head into Wednesday morning, so we will get into some sunshine right off the bat, but it's going to be a chilly start to the day. Most of us headed down into the single digits for lows, perhaps some lower teens lakeside, but still those temperatures are going to be a solid 5 to 10 degrees below average for this time of year. And the brisk wind continues. Now, it will be letting up as we go through the day on Wednesday, but still wind chills are likely down below zero area wide, and we probably pull some negative teens into the mix there across central parts of Wisconsin where the snow has been a bit heavier. So we start your Wednesday with some sunshine. Getting into the afternoon, a few more clouds start to build in. I don't think skies will go totally overcast, but I would anticipate you see more sun in the morning versus later in the day. But all in all, should be a relatively quiet day in between weather systems. Temperatures will stay cold for this time of year. We're about 10 degrees below average, lower 20s expected through most of the area with some teens across the North Woods. Winds, as I mentioned, die down through the day, so could still see sustained speeds up around 10 miles per hour into the early afternoon with some gusts 15 to 20 in there, but late in the day, that wind should really let up. Still, though, even at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we're probably going to see that wind chill about 10 degrees colder than the actual air temperature.
How you doing, everybody? As we told you earlier, still no decision from Aaron Rodgers on his future with the Packers or the NFL in general. The quarterback saying today needs a little more time to talk to those closest to him and the team. When talking about that today on the Pat McAfee Show today, Rodgers name-dropped quarterbacks coach Tom Clements. Now, the Packers, you may recall, brought Clements out of a one-year hiatus to replace Luke Getsy, who left to become the Bears' offensive coordinator. Rodgers worked with Clements for 11 seasons under Mike McCarthy, a stretch that included a Super Bowl win and 2 of Rodgers' MVP awards.
The game is better when Tom Clements is coaching because he's one of those special coaches. Doesn't get all the credit he deserves. He's kind of just been one of those lifer guys in the business. Fantastic teacher of the game and great for young players as well. Like when I was a young player, off season was obviously different back then, but man, he was instrumental in my development for sure.
Well, today teams can begin placing franchise tags on free agents. That includes Rodgers' favorite target, Devontae Adams. Since the end of the season, though, there have been no talks between the Packers and Adams' camp. That according to a report today by the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Teams have until March 8th to use the tag or risk losing players to unrestricted free agency on March 16th. Well, this afternoon, the Packers also signed a kicker. His name is Dominic Eberle. Maybe some competition for J.J. Molson and even Mason Crosby. We'll be right back.
We want to head back out to Sturgeon Bay. We've been following the deadly fire at a historic downtown bar there.
Casey Torres has been at the scene getting updates throughout the day. Let's get back in and check in with her with one person still unaccounted for. Casey.
Bill, Cammie, we learned that one person was killed in this fire and there is still one person missing at this time. And we know one man was taken to the hospital to a burn center treatment. Now, I want to show you video from earlier this morning when the fire started before 4. You can see the flames just taking over the building, and it took 9 agencies to put out the flames. Now, this fire is still under investigation, and we'll have more information on that coming up on Action 2 News at 6. Cammie, Bill.
Thanks, Casey, and we'll see you at 6.
Good night.